It's completely wrong. Well, you can tell me the world is flat. This is not as stiff a mile and a half as the Epsom mile and a half. And for Shahrastani, who has a slight stamina doubt, will be suited, but it will be a faster run race because we have ostensible in it than Epsom. Now, the head-on camera begins to close on Bakarov, who's being led across. He does look a bit more relaxed, but as you see, if you've backed him, you support him, you have to be a little bit concerned with his behaviour. He seemed to be pretty calm at France, as I remember, but he's not been that calm today. He's behaving okay in himself, but he is sweating a lot. It's not a particularly good thing for his chances. Mashko, on the other hand, is a lazy sort. Doddled off down to the start. Steve Cawthon, of course, has chosen him in front of Bonhomme. You saw on the clip we showed you how badly placed he was turning in at Epsom. Never going very well there. My worry about him, he's a horse you have to push and prod to manoeuvre. Hopefully the pace will go enough to sort them out, but he doesn't seem to me to be nearly as easy a rider, Shahrastani, even though he may have been fractionally unlucky on the evidence of what we saw at Epsom. But he's an improving horse who is clearly got a major chance today. And I must say, I think Shahrastani is very short. I actually think he'll win, but I think he's very short and no value. And Mashko was the value earlier on. There's Shahrastani. And I must say, he went to the post, not because he's the favourite. He went to the post better than any of the others. A beautiful striding animal. And Jimmy Scott, the travelling head lad to Michael Stites, was telling me this morning, breakfast time, that he's the best mover he's ever sat on him. Well, there's Mashko being led up by Peter Ellison, ridden, of course, by the British champion, the American Steve Cawthon. And Will Pat Henry put one over on him, who rides Bonhomme, who is the stable, not exactly the stable neglected, but Steve Cawthon rejected to some extent. So, we've briefly seen them all. Graham Good is with me. He saw them go down. First question, Graham. Bakarov, have you seen him as upset as that before?
He was certainly tense in the parade, and he sweated up quite badly. It is a very sweaty day, of course, but even allowing for that, he seemed to be very, very much on his toes, and the trainer Guy Harwood was with him as they paraded in front of the stands, the pack stands. Shahrastani also sweating up just a little bit. There he is, the Everready Derby winner, but he did look compact and organised and moved very, very well indeed.
To be honest, Graham, I think I'd be a bit upset if a horse didn't sweat a bit this day. It's very, very hot here. I can tell you the commentators are sweating, and if a horse wasn't actually not warm when he got to the start before a race of this magnitude, I'd really be quite worried about him. There's Jimmy Scott leading Shahrastani to make sure, putting him across to the handlers. Shahrastani, who's going to be going into stall 10 with Mr. John in 11, then Bonhomme 9, Flash of Steel 8, Ostensible 7, World Count 6, Pacific Drift 5, Fighting Hard 4, Mashko is in stall 3, Bakarov in 2, and King Retain in stall 1. Just a few to go now. Walter Swinburne having his third ride in the Derby. He won in these colours, don't forget, on Shergar, 1981. On Sheriff Dancer, rather, he would have ridden Shergar, but was suspended. So a major, major day for him. What a lovely horse Shahrastani is, but if he's going to win 2 Derbies, he's got his moments of truth coming up now. So for this Budweiser Irish Derby, here's Graham.
And just waiting for Shahrastani to go into the stalls. Down at the 1.5 mile start, Shahrastani, the last horse to be put in. That's it. When he's in, they're all in. They're looking very calm and organised. Under orders, they're off. Slowly starting was World, of course. And in fact, that one is a long way behind. So too in the very early stages was King Retain. But it's Ostensible who goes on through the first furlong. And it's Ostensible in the lead from Bonhomme in second place. Racing third is Shahrastani. Behind these comes King John. Up on the outside races Fighting Hard. Mashko is on the outside of the pack through the first furlong and a half. It's Ostensible setting a blazing pace to Bonhomme in second. Shahrastani is close up in third. Behind these comes Mr. John, and then comes Mashko, followed by Bakarov. Back marker is the rank outsider, King Retain, but Ostensible now being joined on the outside by Bonamy as they stretch the first half mile, and it's Ostensible the leader from Bonamy. Shahrastani is third, then Mr. John with up on the outside fighting hard behind these Mashkour. Shahrastani is close up in third place, and as they're heading now towards the halfway stage, Ken Butler on Ostensible really stretching them. From Bonamy in second place, Shahrastani is third, the red cap fighting hard, makes ground on the outside into fourth. Behind these comes Mashkour. After these, Baccaroff is mid-division at this stage, and in fact Baccaroff last but one as they begin the sweep out of the back straight, and it's Bonamy and Pat Edery on the outside of the place making Ostensible. Shahrastani is in third place, and Bruff, these three are clear as Bonamy goes.
Yes, the worry is Baccaroff. He's not been going really, but Bonamy has got to cut for home, but Shahrastani is perfectly placed. Mashkour once again is making his own trouble at the moment, but he's really committed himself, Pat. The no-hopers here are going to completely die, and I think Shahrastani will pick him off, but it's going to be a real test of stamina.
And he's in second place, Shahrastani, from the leader Bonamy as Ostensible drops away. Mashkour in the yellow starts to make ground, fighting hard with Mr. John trying to come with a run. Then comes Flash of Steel as they begin the sweep into the home straight, just over 3 furlongs to go. And it's Bonamy in the lead from Shahrastani in second. Back in third is Mr. John. Behind these comes Mashkour. And as they turn into the home straight, it's Bonamy from Shahrastani and Mashkour. Newmarket trained horses 1, 2, 3 at this stage with 2 furlongs to go. Shahrastani looking strong, coming up on the outside of Bonamy. Down the centre of the track, Baccaroff starts to make ground on the outside of Mashkour. A furlong and a half to go, and Shahrastani swoops and goes. Shahrastani has quickly gone clear from Bonamy. Baccaroff and Mashkour, Flash of Steel and Mr. John, but inside the final furlong, it's a one-horse race. It's Shahrastani well clear, drawing right away from these, up toward the line. A very easy win for Walter Swinburne. Shahrastani wins the Budweiser Irish Derby at the post. Shahrastani is the winner. Bonamy is second, a photo for third between Baccaroff and then came Mashkour. Behind these came Mr. John, then World Court after World Court was Flash of Steel, followed then by King Retain. The back markers are Ostensible, Pacific Gold, and trailing in last was Fighting Hard. And so the result of this Budweiser Irish Derby, it's a win for number 10, which is Shahrastani, owned by the Aga Khan, trained at Newmarket by Michael Stanton, ridden quite superbly by Walter Swinburne.
Well, the great thing about Walter, and most of all about this horse, is he's a very sensible ride. You can put him anywhere in the race. You don't have to hold him up, hide him, or anything like that. Pat Edery did the right thing. He committed himself. But really, what he did is a dug a grave for the others, because it was much too deep for them to get out of. Shahrastani had the race set up for him. Walter knew he got the trip. He could go behind the pacemaker. He was waiting to press the button here. When he did, the others are dead. It's a good battle for second place. They've struggled on Mashkour and Baccaroff, but essentially they lack pace. Shahrastani showed us in the Derby he could accelerate in a slowly run race. He's had a fast run race here, and he's come away like a really honest racehorse. I don't think we've seen the best of him yet. This is the best we've seen of him so far. He's really coming away now, coming away really strongly. As we said, at the pace they went, the horses were going to collapse behind him. You see they're rolling around there. Bonamy, who's done the right thing, Paddy's committed him, but look, he's completely legless there. He's rolling all over the place. It's very close for second, and as they come away now, here comes Shahrastani. He keeps going. He's a relentless galloper. He's going to be a very tough one to beat in the King George and in the Arc. Those are the sort of races for him. I hope we see him as a 4-year-old, but he's a very valuable property now. What he is a dual Derby winner, the 8th we've had since this race became international, and a fine performance here by him and Walter Swinburne. Here he comes over the line. Who's going to be second? We have a 2:34 time, which means the ground must have been quite soft because they seem to go fast. It's not a very fast time. Bonamy looks as if he may just have got through second. No, this replay will take us through. Bonamy's second. It's close for third. On this photograph, it looks as if Baccaroff just gets a hold ahead of Mashkour Graham.
Indeed, English trained horses 1, 2, 3 and 4, but Baccaroff nearest to us in the pink cap. But there's our winner. That was Shahrastani, owned by the Aga Khan. There's trainer Michael Stout on the far side of Walter Swinburne. He could, of course, should have ridden Shergar, but was suspended, and you can't help but think of that mighty legendary horse now, as Walter waves and salutes, coming back on this very, very impressive winner. Obviously, the rain could have helped him. We had a very heavy rain shower yesterday. Good, perfect ground, just posing for photographs. A very organised and relaxed racehorse, brother.
He's a real professional, and he's getting better all the time. People forget how rarely these horses run. We were just seeing the poor Dawn Run, who died yesterday. He ran 35 times. This horse today was actually only having the 5th race of his career. Well, the first one last year was a bit of a muddle. He's having the 4th run of this season. He's only just getting himself organised, and if he goes right through the end of this campaign, and indeed if he has a campaign next year, he really will be a fine horse. At the moment, he's a very good 3-year-old indeed, and the clash between him and Bering over a mile and a half, hopefully in the Arc, maybe even in the King George, will be worth going a long, long way to see. Michael Stout, what a great trainer he's become. He really can get horses ready for the big day. This horse who's been developing all the time, and people all will go and buy horses, but none of these horses actually cost very much. No, none of them into the $1 million bracket, and Shahrastani, actually bred by the Aga Khan himself, actually foaled in America. He's buying Nijinsky out of a Thatch mare, and he was exactly the same weight, same poundage as he was at Epsom.
And you can see the horse there absolutely surrounded by photographers. It must be, oh, I don't know, 50 or 60 photographers, and the horse isn't in the least bit perturbed. Look at him. He's really enjoying it. He's smashing, absolutely smashing.
The only thing I understand he does get a little bit excited about, he's can get a bit keen on the ladies, so we have to keep them out of his way, but what's a young blade to do? He's behaved himself extraordinarily well today. He was even money favourite, and he won like an odds-on shot. That's the very least you could say about him. Walter Swinburne going across to do the interviews, and Cawthon, of course, Steve Cawthon, who rode Mashcore, did pick wrong because Bonami finished in front of him. It made no difference because Shahrastani is much the best horse in the race, and in fact the reading of the Derby is that he got the best run because he had the ability to quicken. Other horses were not able to manoeuvre right, and if a horse, half the thing about racing is to be in a good position during the race, and Shahrastani clearly can do that. Bonami was 7-1, he was second, and we'll bring you a full SP, of course, later on. But a group of roses there. So from here at the Curragh, an 8th length victory for Shahrastani.